Hello everyone, welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today we're going to be playing Rush Rivals, episode 6. We've got all the rivals here, or most of the rivals are here, and they will be duking out once again to find out who is the true Rush Rivals champion. Today they will be taking another step on their journey to gather points, gather cards, build out their collections, and find out who is going to be the ultimate champion. So let's jump on in and see what everyone's doing. Say hello to all of the rivals. There you go. Your voice is only active when we're on this screen. Only active when we're on the Rush Rivals screen.
Hello, old chat.
But I believe, I've had to turn off the other stream, but I believe that some of the rivals are still currently playing.
Well, UI Roman 2 off.
Where did your vest go? The vest is off for now, okay? The vest might make a comeback at some point. It's not coming back right now, okay? I'm about to lose, don't worry. Well,
so
it's
yeah, I buried the body there, guys. Is it a good spot?
Wait, we missed some players.
Hunter is not going to be able to be in voice. That is fine, though. We will try and work around it. We're going to see what we can do. Milanesso just hasn't shown up yet.
Can I interest you in our religion?
I have obviously done the pings. But I'll see. I'll do a quick ping and just see where Milanesso's at. But then we will get into what the challenge is. Obviously, we can go through the rules. The players already know the rules, so that is completely fine and dandy.
Tomato in his undershirt.
So we will today. The rivals will be playing the Wheel of Rush. So what is the Wheel of Rush? The Wheel of Rush is quite simple. Going from top down in points wise, we have asked all of the rivals to spin a wheel.
The Wheel of Rush.
Everything on the wheel is basically a restriction that the players will have to follow and then play in a best of one bracket with their chosen restriction. So whoever was in first place got to
why
veto.
Wasn't I informed of this?
Got to veto one of the slices of the wheel, so they got to basically ignore that. And the higher up you were, you got more respins. The further down you get, the more you just have to kind of play with where it lands, right? So in first place currently, we have Whistling Bird, who ended up with limited only, which basically means he can only use a certain select number of cards, such as legends and such as cards that are limited, either 3, 2, or 1, and then a small handful of other cards. This does mean his deck is going to be very weird, because typically, you know, you're not allowed to use more than one, or more than like 3 limit 3s, for example. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Then we have Manikist, who has no skill. So Manikist is not allowed to use any skills. We have Draco, who has to use 7 level 7s. So, you know, there are some skills that might work better with that, some that might not. Parko is not allowed to use any trap cards. Hunter is locked into Magical Knights, which means he can only use Magical Knights, he can use Spellcasters, he can use Warriors, and just for this one session, we are also going to allow Curse of Dragon, but he is not allowed to use the new Gaia skill. Milanesso is not allowed to use any spell cards, Sota is not allowed to use any effect monsters, and Hikari is not allowed to use any monsters that are level 7 or higher. So that is basically what's going on. Everyone has really somewhat frustrating restrictions. Some of the restrictions are more restrictive than others. Some of them are kind of fine, right? So we're going to have to just see what happens here. We're going to have to see who ended up building the better decks. Now, I think it's fair to say some of these restrictions are very obviously worse than others. I don't know what you guys think is the worst, like specifically from the rivals. In my opinion, I think no level 7 plus can be a bit annoying.
On the Ed as well for Hikari.
Yes, it is also on the extra deck. So there is no Metarian shenanigans, but there are some other things you can do with that. So all of the in-depth rules for the rivals are in the announcements channel, so they can see it there.
No Metarian or Heroes.
But I will go ahead now and reveal... I'll go ahead and reveal the brackets for what you're going to be playing. So we have pre-randomized this. This is entirely random. I did not change this whatsoever. I did not try and balance this. This is just how it came out. So the brackets will be as follows. In the first game, we will, well, we'll play them simultaneously, but we have Whistling Bird versus Sota, Parko versus Hikari, Manikist versus Hunter, and Draco Kid versus Milanesso. The room is indeed unlimited. I will go ahead and get that now, actually, because I haven't got the room code yet. So I will grab that and I'll chuck that into the announcements. There you go.
I really did.
just cover some little bits and bobs quick. Do we need to post our decks in our channels? I mean, I would like you to, but I do trust you. I do trust you. By the power of my 19 limb 3, I trust in Bird. I do trust in Bird. In Bird we trust. Let this be a very strong and honourable duel. So I will go ahead and get the game up on the screen so we can actually start watching some.
Tomato, can we use the Gaia skill?
Can we use any? Everyone is allowed to use any skill they want, except specifically Hunter, who is not allowed to use the Gaia skill, and the only reason he has that stipulation is because we're allowing him to use a card that is outside of his original scope. Because he's allowed to use a dragon, a singular dragon, which is not a magical knight. We have given him that option to use that dragon. In exchange, he's not allowed to use the skill. Everyone else can do whatever they want. They can use whatever skill they want, whatever cards they want. They have the entire card pool at their disposal. The only negative is the restriction that they have posted on them, applied to them. So what this does mean is, so for example, Whistling Bird has got some new limits that have become available. What restriction? What are you talking about, Draco? I have no restriction. Do you mean you just built a deck that doesn't care about its restriction? So you've just got 7 level 7s anyway? But
Sota geht ohne Lim 1.
so when everyone is ready, you can just jump on whatever table you want. We will be going through and either spectating or watching the replays. So it's completely fine. You can change your name if you want, Paco. We won't hold it against you if you want to have your current name. But who have we got in the chat while we wait for everyone to jump into their games? We have the Dr. Alex, who is vibing here with the emotes. We have a human Portuguese dub fan. We have L9 Ray. Everyone loves L9 Ray. L9 Ray, I think, is like the mascot of the Rush Duel community. Like, absolutely adorable. Absolutely lovely. We got Monosync here to escape the Gaia champion. Today is the last one. No, but this is a stepping stone to become the champion. We have CZ. Gaia is so fun, though. I agree, but I hope the other decks are equal too. Which build do you like? I'm liking Elemental build. I like the Elemental build myself. Obviously, I think you were more referring to Monosync. I personally like the Elemental Hero build.
Can we start?
Yeah, you can start whenever you want, Hikari. We will just hop in and watch whenever there are games going. And any that we haven't, we will be, you know, watching the replays. So it's completely fine. You can do whatever you want. Tomato, my opponent isn't showing up. Oh, no. I mean, your opponent's in the room, it looks like. He sat down at the table. Good luck,
it's
rivals.
Best of one, yay.
I'm kind of built Change Slime Dragon Champion. It's best of one. Yes, it is best of one. Best of one, just because we don't want this to go on too late. Now, I don't expect it would, but there is always a chance. So, yeah. For Gaia, I love the hero version, but I would be playing Santa soon to get revenge on Society. Oh, baby. Alright, we will go ahead and get rid of this bracket off of the page, and then we will go ahead and start spectating some of these games. So let's jump into Whistling Bird versus Sota. I think this is arguably going to be the most interesting deck. So this is going to be Whistling Bird on limited only, which is a very, very complicated restriction, but basically he's only allowed to use primarily limited cards and a few cards outside of that. Sota, on the other hand, has no effect monsters, so he has to be on an entire normal monster main deck. Let's see what happens. So Whistling Bird's going to start out with 2 defensive monsters and a back row. Looks like we're going to be seeing some elemental hero action from Sota. And we are going to be summoning out Gaia, the Fierce Knight. And Chivalrous Celerity is coming down. This is something I actually didn't consider, was how many people could make use of the new Gaia skill. So this is going to be an interesting one. And unfortunately, this is not the time to brick when your opponent's playing arguably one of the best decks in the format, because, I mean, effectively, this is just going to be Hero Gaia, right? You're not allowed to use effect monsters, so there's going to be no, like, Argent. I mean, what other effect monsters does that deck even play? I guess you also won't have the Battle Tested, which is actually kind of big. And we do have a Chronicled Conqueror of Champions coming down. We are going to be using its effect to pop a back row, which is not always the best thing to do with this card, but in this early stage, I mean, getting a direct attack isn't really going to help out. I suppose the alternative would have been to go for the Swift and try and use that, but we did get rid of our opponent's Avarice, and we are going to attack over the 2 limited.
Here, Tomato frowning face with open mouth.
Oh, that's my fault. I need to ping him. At here.
I still got the direct attack. Oh shit.
Audit übrig.
Alright, I have pinged Hunter. Hopefully he will get that, and hopefully he'll show up in the next 5-10 minutes. Because, again, he has something very important that he couldn't really get out of. So we're going to play this by ear. If he doesn't show up in time, we will just have to... Oh, no! I was sorting out stuff, and then... I mean... Yeah, sometimes you just draw the max.
Well.
You just OTK out of nowhere. I mean, I don't think anyone misses this deck, right? I don't think anyone actually misses this deck.
Die hat 2 Pikes in Hand.
Deck check Whistle. I've already checked Whistle's deck. I already know Whistle's is completely fine. All right, let's jump into Hikari versus Parko. So Hikari has the restriction of no level 7+, which is quite a steep restriction, against Parko's no trap card. So Parko can basically play anything he wants, but we're not going to see like a negate attack.
While you were sorting out your stream, Bird took out Magnum from his sleeve.
Willkommen in der Reihe.
I'll allow it since he defeated Gaia. Alright, let's see what happens here. So we're going to be summoning out both of our heroes using Fusion to combine them into the Elemental Hero Flame Wingman. We will be attacking in and only getting the 500 burn. So we are going to be seeing Dragon's Inferno come down. Is this literally going to be...
So it's heroes, yes, full power Metri and Gaia.
Yeah, I think this is full power Metari and Gaia. Okay. This feels very one-sided in terms of the deck choice. And the deck choice is only one-sided because of the heavy restriction that Hikari got. Now, if Hikari... Because this came down to 2 different restrictions. Hikari basically had, I think it was no extra deck or no level 7+. And I think no extra deck obviously wouldn't...
No level 7.
Yeah, no level 7+ is pretty yikes. Alright, so we'll be going on to Milanesso versus Draco. So Milanesso has the restriction of no spell cards. So that'll be an interesting one. And Draco has to play 7 level 7s. Has to be on 7.
I think Gaia might be T0 since it can be fused
when
with
we only
Hero
play
and
2
very
and
nicely.
no other downside on now.
Listen, it's a wheel. It's meant to be a wheel. Like, so they're not meant to be balanced. Chivalrous Celerity is going to come down. Everyone is just playing Chivalrous Celerity. Everyone is just playing it. Monster Calling comes down. We're going to be bringing back the Curse of Dragon. Secret Order is going to bring back the Gaia the Fierce Knight. Polymerization from the hand is going to combine them together.
You didn't expect us to play it?
It's less about expecting you to play it and more about when I designed this wheel, this deck didn't exist, right? So Swift Dryer comes down. Swift Guy's effect is going to activate. Card Restoration is going to come down.
R1 is over.
Yeah, you can wait. You can get on with the next game if your opponent is ready. That's completely fine.
Against the meta.
Good thing it's not the best of them. Yeah. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way it goes. So we are going to see Chemicalized Salamander come down from Milanesso. So Milanesso, once again, is not allowed to use any spell cards. But so he's decided to play Pyro. An interesting choice. Chivalrous Celerity is going to come down. We are going to boost the attack of our Conqueror of Champions. We are then going to use the battle-tested effect to fuse using the Curse of Dragon in the graveyard to create a Swift Gaia.
I think I would lose this even if it was best of 500.
We are going to attack over for 1100. We are going to attack over for 700 damage. We're going to summon out the Jamalu, which does turn on the skill and is going to allow us to mill 3 and add back the Chemicalized Salamander. We're going to tribute 2 to summon out the Chromatographicus. We're then going to summon out our Flame Ruler, use its effect to tribute it as 2 tributes to summon out the Chemicalized Salamandra. We're then going to shuffle 3 cards back to reduce the attack of our opponent's monsters by 100 for every monster in the graveyard.
What stuff is getting played.
We will then swing over for 500, swing over for another 500, and presumably clear this last monster. But I can't imagine Draco's not going to have lethal here. Let's see what Draco's got.
Not trust NA set.
I mean, potentially. I do not believe we have seen... I don't think it's going to be NA. Yeah, has to be slime.
Set.
Has to be slime. So we will be fusing our monsters together to create the mighty Elemental Hero
Flame
Burst Wingman. Now, what do we hit? We do hit the slime! So this is lethal on board unless we have like an attack modification. But even that, with a second boss on the board, this is just going to be lethal either way, right? I don't think there's anything that could save this.
I think
Flame
the next
Wingman would have
Limitless
been
Burst Wingman might be sent to 1.
It potentially could be. The thing is, I don't even think Burst Wingman is the issue. It's the fact that you can play Burst Wingman with the Gaia skill in the Gaia deck. That's like the broken bit.
Heck, wait.
Wait. Hold. Hold. We did gain enough life to survive. Our other two bodies were too big to be attacked over and killed. We do get to use this skill thanks to summoning a normal Pyro. We will add back Chemicalized Salamander. We can clear this board. Clearing the board is not the issue. The issue is surviving the next turn. We've gone through pretty much every trap that we had. We know the hand is full of monsters.
Not trust we will reduce enough to win.
Gut, ist ein Pyro-Agaya Killer.
Okay, we're going to summon out Chemicalized Salamander, then get out the Hyper Assistant.
That's how to take
Ember.
it out. Cause
So
Guy Conquerors at 1.
we
So
can
putting
reduce-
Burst
oh,
Wingman
wait,
at
wait,
1 would
hold.
solve it.
Hold.
Or they could just rebalance the skill to only have LVL7
Oh.
and
Phlogiston? Our graveyard is so full. There's no way. This has to be live, right? There's no way Phlogiston isn't live. We need what? 7 plus 6. We
Dann
need 2
also mit
3s.
Arion, jetzt Morelimios.
I mean,
Wait,
yeah,
chill.
we've. Yeah, okay, everyone, there we go. Gaia who? Chemicalized best deck.
Apologize.
Robert für Adamua.
Missy.
I don't even. Good job, Milanesso. That was
GSJ.
impressive. Yeah.
Milaneso is the true main
Mila,
character
have
of
my
Rush
kids.
Well,
Rivals.
now, that means only Poco is a threat.
So Hunter is here and playing its Manicus. So we will jump into the last game and see what is going on. Now, don't forget, Hunter is going to be heavily distracted, so he might be playing as a game, but Hunter does have the Magical Knight restriction, so he is limited to Magical Knights, he is limited to Warriors, Spellcasters, he is allowed Curse of Dragon, so that he can access his brand new Magical Knight, but he's not allowed to use the new Gaia skill. And then Manicist has no skill, he is not allowed to use a skill, so he is most likely going to be playing either Metarian or he's going to be playing Machine Good stuff. Now, based on the cards we've seen, this is most likely going to be like Machine Good stuff. We'll see what happens. It's okay, Draco. It's okay. Uh-oh. That doesn't seem good. Why is everything stopped? It was more like everything stopped all at once, right? Like, absolutely everything stopped. And I was like, has my internet died?
I think he's TCing.
Okay, if Hunter is available, we'll give him one more run back. But if he's not, we will just call that there. If Hunter, like,
still
readies
have a
up, we'll
tomato.
try one more time.
Salad best rush
So your
deck.
Internet ist fine.
Salad best rush deck. True. We give everyone one reconnect if they disconnect. But if Hunter doesn't want to play again, or if he's unable, we will just leave it at that. We'll see what happens. And we can see here that Manicist is rocking the red Blue Eyes White Dragon. Absolute awesome looking emote. Or icon. I can't tell what Hunter's is. Is it Crass Clown? It's not easy to tell. I think it might be Crass Clown.
Clown Zombie, no?
Clown Zombie? It could be. I think Clown Zombie is Crass Clown's, like, zombie form. Blue Eyes Red Dragon is so cool. It's funny as well, because I believe those icons, or specifically that Blue Eyes, is from the new... I say the new. The Capsule Monsters game from the Early Days collection.
Ist Red Eis Red Dragon?
I mean, potentially. Alright, we'll give Hunter just a couple more minutes. We've still got a long time, so I don't think we have to be too worried about being pressed for time. But when that is done, it will be... what, Paco versus Whistling Bird, which will be an interesting one to watch. Gonna be Black Eyes Whistling Bird? That is the most, like, London British, like, comment that you've ever said. Don't take it personally, Whistling Bird. That's just how we speak over here.
I have blue eyes. Rot Black.
Oh my god, Manicist with the red Gyarados icon. True. Alright, I mean, I've sent Hunter a message. He hasn't responded, so we
What
might
about
just
Kira?
have to go on without him. What about Kira? So Paco and me can
Paco
start.
and me
Yeah,
can start.
you could have started whenever. We were waiting for I mean, you guys could have started whenever. You guys wanted to watch.
Or Schulstart.
Yeah, you guys can jump in. If you guys start, then that'll at least give us something to do here.
We can start.
Alright, so we will be watching Whistling Bird, who does have the limited only restriction, and did win his last game thanks to
Let's go.
Magnum Overlord. Playing against Paco, who has the no traps restriction, and we do know is playing full power Gaia.
Liebe live in my 19 Land 3S.
Believe in his 19
Oh,
limit
I'm so
threes.
dead.
Let's see what happens. One thing we will say is that Magnum works a lot better when you don't know it's coming. So we'll see what happens here.
Magnum, don't hit me.
Right, let's see what's
Who's
happening
my next
here.
opponent if Hunter isn't available?
If Hunter isn't available, your next opponent will be Milanesso. I will give it until this game finishes. If this game finishes and Hunter hasn't said anything or he hasn't readied up, we will just go on to the next round. That is going to be his time limit. So we do see Mirror Innovator come down, who does get to pierce over. Paco does take a chunk of damage, going down to 3,700. Now, Paco is arguably playing the best deck in the game right now with, like, 2 traps taken out. So, let's see if Whistling Bird can fight back. So we are going to flip up the Sword Dancer.
Donut, another sword, danke.
We're going to summon the Imaginary Reactor, activate its effect, milling 2 spell cards, then flipping over Polymerization. This will allow us to use the skill to take back Polymerization and any normal monster, guys. Any normal monster. Not just a Gaia normal monster. Any normal monster from the deck and add it to our hand, which is kind of nuts. That's kind of nuts. It's almost like you can abuse that by playing a lot of other things that aren't Gaia cards in it. Like,
An Ico-Ketere.
it is possible. It is possible. You might be alive, maybe,
Probably.
but you're definitely taking an absolute crap ton of damage regardless. Chivalrous Celerity. So this will increase the attack of a
He lies
shortstop.
in the heart of the cats.
Shane
Jane
Parker
has
has no
no traps to stop Magnum.
Yeah. I mean, it might not matter.
LM foul.
My grandpa taught me how to draft Exodia.
Well, in Magnum, you only need 3 cards. You don't even need all 5. You plan on doing Matari and Gaia video? Yes, it will eventually. It probably won't come out for a while yet, though, because I don't really want to do, like, Gaia, and then Gaia, and then Gaia as 3 videos back to back to back. I do want to see a little bit of diversity. We will swing over, and then we'll get in for a further 28. Oh, he's like, I don't want to get his life points lower.
Boy,
Magnum's
someone
scary.
donate a lot of money so Tomato gets distracted.
Now, what someone should do, if there's any, like, people that have a lot of disposable income... Oh! I was going to say, they should just gift all the rivals subs just to make it really funny. But out comes the Magnum Overlord. So this is going to increase its attack points by the 9 times 2 up to 53. So that is 39, if my maths is correct. And we know the back row can't be a trap.
Wait, couldn't Paco summon another fusion with the skill?
I mean, he could have done, but that still wouldn't have killed, and it wouldn't have stopped him from dying. So, he definitely could have. And there we go. That is Whistling Bird advancing to the finals.
Just not attack.
Yeah, I think that was the play. Just don't attack. But you know, hindsight's 20/20. All right, since that has finished and Hunter versus Manicus does not seem to have begun, I guess we will be advancing to Manicus versus Milaneso. If you guys want to go to table 3, and we will have that game start in a sec. And we will jump in.
But we see the brackets.
Let me see the bracket. I mean, I'm not updating the bracket, but I can show you it. Wow. So we are going to have Whistling Bird advancing to the finals. And then this is Manicus versus Milaneso in the semis. Can you update the bracket? No, it's a PNG. That's what I do in post-editing. So we are going to be summoning out the Rising Light Angel Essel. We are going to be using its effect. We do send 2 cards to the graveyard. We don't get the special summon because it's the first turn of the game. So just to reiterate, Manicus is playing with restriction where he is not allowed a skill. Milaneso is playing with restriction where he is not allowed any spell cards. So Manicus is playing Machine Good Stuff into Milaneso's Pyro deck. I think I actually would give this to Milaneso. I think Milaneso has the advantage going in this. Because the Pyro deck actually isn't bad. It's just crap into like the current format. But we're not playing the current format. And even then, it did actually manage to beat one of the current format decks in the last game.
Will be played during your turn.
So we will set a monster in defense position. Do we have any bosses? We'll tribute 2 to summon out the boy himself, Chemicalized Salamandra. Forever Freeze is going to be used though. We will be setting another monster in defense and setting 1 back row.
That's going to be your theme whenever you draw a card.
We'll have to see. So we will be summoning out the Crafter Drone, activating Crafter Drone's effect. We will be discarding a very interesting card, getting rid of the Mirror Innovator. That tells me we probably already have one in hand. Oh, the Ancient Gear Golem is going to come down. What is in the hand for Manicus? We're setting a back row. And we're setting another monster in defense position. So we opted to keep that back row instead of getting out the Innovator. I mean, obviously to get out the Innovator, we would have had to tribute over the Rex, which is probably not ideal. Also, having 3 attack position monsters might not be the best against a deck that really wants you to play face-up attack position monsters. Can you edit that for us to wait? It depends. I've got a lot of stuff to do over the next week. So I've got, obviously we've got the new set, the new decks out. So we're going to be using the skill to add Chemicalized Salamander to hand, activate Nitro Hound to burn for 400, Now, we do know that we have the Chemicalized Salamandra in hand already. The question is, do we have any other bosses? We're going to summon out the Chemicalized Salamandra. We could, though, summon out the Flame Ruler or the Ember to cheat out another boss monster. Or we could just summon and then tribute out another one. But it'll be interesting to see what is in hand.
Reale Z ohne Tintuk. Konami is really careful with its Limit 2S.
For sure, for sure. So we are going to use the effect of Salamander to reduce the attack of both these monsters. And just like we said, well, the Flame Ruler, but nothing to actually go with it. So we can crash. We are going to into the Joint Tech Rex, and we will attack over the Esser with the Flame Ruler. But Milanesso's life point's not looking too good, but we do have 2 back row, so we might just be okay. Now, what is Manicus going to have? This is always going to be a really sketchy situation. You know that Milanesso plays a lot of trap cards. Star Replacer is going to give us the 3+1. This will make getting our bosses out a little bit easier. We're going to summon out the Jointech Leo. This will give us access to either the Ancient Gear Golem or the Rex. I would expect it's going to be Golem added here. And there it is. It's going to be the Golem.
How is anyone beating Mila?
We're going to be activating Craft the Drone to discard a card and draw a card. So we know we have the Ancient Gear Golem ready to come down. We know what one of our opponent's back row is for sure. We are going to tribute set and then set again. Now, this is taking advantage of the fact that we know our opponent doesn't have any way to really beat set 3 pass. And we can't reduce the attack or defense of our opponent's monsters. So if we do set, for example, Ancient Gear Golem, which is the assumption of what's just been set, Mila shouldn't have any way to actually deal with that. We have also just seen Forever Freeze go to the graveyard, which means we no longer need to worry about playing around that. Let's see what Milanesso has for us. We're going to be tributing the Flame Ruler to summon out the Chemicalized Salamander. We'll be going to the battle phase. We will be swinging over these monsters. 1, 2. So who will be next? We will have Manicus drawing up to his 5 cards. Just gonna grab something over here, don't mind me.
BRB.
Okie dokie. Manicus just passing. Oh no. Oh no. Not looking good for Manicus. I want to get an ice cream when I don't play anymore. You will not be not playing any more Whistling Bird. You're in the finals.
Can someone cue the
Diesmal
tomato clip?
Strawberry
That's how
Vanilla
I feel right now.
Eckerklingenkron is waiting.
Ooh, what? What did we just witness? Oh, because we know Manicus has set on the field the Ancient Gear Golem. So Manicus doesn't want to flip it up because then it will get reduced. He also doesn't want to play any cards from hand because they're now in the deck out war. So this is actually a very interesting scenario they find themselves in. What is... So, as is, Milanesso will deck out first. Milanesso has ways to out this. I mean, we should probably check the graveyard to actually make sure he does. Yeah, Milanesso should have ways to out this. Manicus, though, is kind of sitting pretty right now. We're going to be summoning out Rhythmical Performer and Craft the Drone. Tribute 2 to summon out the Rex. Activate Rex's effect. This will let us refill our deck, which is actually so important.
Performer Mill.
I think I know where Manicist is going with this. He doesn't want to use the Performer Mill because he's worried about his own deck as well, I think. So he's going to have to use a lot of cards from his hand here. Yeah, this is exactly what we're expecting. He doesn't want to leave any face-up monsters, because if he does, then Milanesso can activate the effect of Chemicalized Salamander. So noticing this, we are going to start attacking over these monsters, because now if we leave the Ancient Gear Golem face up, we can activate the Chemicalized Salamander and start refilling our own deck. Which now forces Manicist to make a decision. We are just going to pass, so this should be allowing Milanesso to start using his effect. Two, three, which does give us the deck lead. And we also have our way to out the mighty Ancient Gear Golem. Wait, do we not have... We don't have the vanilla, so it didn't gain the boost?
Oh no.
Where's Small Ember? That's what I'm saying. Where's Small Ember?
No.
We had so many cards in the graveyard. I was like, well,
Yeah,
you
he's
just
Super
must have
Ember.
it.
He returned it all.
Oh no. I had a similar thing. I actually played in an OCG tournament in Monos recently, and I did not just find any of my Super Assistant Achis, or Ember, as it's now called, and it completely screwed me over. So we can now use Chemicalized Salamander to just keep refilling our deck. Because there's a face-up Ancient Gear Golem on the field. As long as that card remains face-up, we can just keep refilling our deck over and over. The question is, can Manicist also find a way to continuously
Miller is still winning.
get his guy out and refill and do it again and again and again and again? In which case, this might just be an infinite stall game. We're already on turn 18, by the way. It's at times like this that I'm happy I made this best of one
That was
instead of
such
best
a
of three.
huge fumble, but Mila might win regardless.
Milanesso has everything in his deck that he needs. He just needs to get it all out in the right order. Let's see if Manicist has what he needs, though. We're going to be adding back the Mirror Innovator. We're going to
Could
be
be
setting...
scary.
Summoning out the Mirror Innovator, which will let us refill.
Gut, he needs to put out 8k plus damage.
Yeah, just act plus ooh damage. Just if he just does that, he'll win. We are going to be changing the Ancient Gear Golem
What's
to
Mila's
attack
restriction?
position. Mila's restriction is he's not allowed to use any spell cards. So all of those back row are guaranteed traps. So we're going to be summoning out Dr. Redrobe. Activating the Fatal Roar skill to mill 3. Because we don't have an effect monster that's level 7 on the field, we can grab Salamander from the graveyard. We're going to summon out Nitro Hound, burn for 400. Now we do know that there is a Chemicalized Salamander in the hand already. There might even be a second. Because we could have drawn the other one. And there is the third one being shuffled back into the deck. So there's either 2 in the deck or 1 in the hand and 1 in the deck.
Wart Anal, bitte.
We'll set another card, set a monster in defense position, go straight to battle. We will declare an attack, and that is going to be the negate attack forced out. Manicus back down to 1 card engraved.
that, Mila.
This is close.
Tat schuld beit for Monarchist.
Well, the defense position monster is probably a 1500.
It could be 1,500.
So we'll go ahead and refill our deck again. We're going to summon out Crafter Drone. Okay. And our music's just stopped. We'll fix that. We will tribute to summon out the Jointech Rex. Jointech Rex effect is going to activate, refilling our deck a little bit more. But Rex is a little bit awkward.
Hier gut Undestere is Arkot trap Mana
The Mighty
Vincier.
Rex.
We do pop the negate attack, which is the best trap card we could hit. This is becoming very tight. This is the issue. Jointech Rex can't really threaten either of the 2 boss monsters on the field. We're going to set another monster in defense position. Are we going to tribute over these for, like, another Innovator? We are exactly going to be doing that. We will be going to activate its effect and shuffle more cards back into the deck. 1, 2, 3... This feels like a finals. Watch the finals be like herder pass, herder like just win
And
game
what
out of
was it
nowhere.
Here?
Magnum Overlord turn 3.
Card Restoration is going to come down, which is going to increase our life points up by 1,000, which will allow us to survive this attack. Oh, where is this going to go though?
We survived.
Both players able to continuously refill their decks again and again and again. We're going to be activating the Fatal Roar skill to add back Chemicalized Salamander once again. We'll summon out Nitro, use its effect to burn for 400. I can only assume we're about to see a double tribute come down for the Chemicalized Salamander. We can straight away fire its effect if we want, but for now we're going to summon out Dr. Redrobe. What are we going to do with this Dr. Redrobe? I think we've kind of come to the conclusion we need to win here. So we're going to summon out the second Chemicalized Salamander. Now, potentially, I don't believe we have access to the third. I think the third is still in the graveyard. No, we definitely do have access to the third. So if we have a Ember in hand, or... Well, we know we don't have the Flame Ruler because he just put him back in. There's only 1 copy of Ember remaining. So if we have the last Ember in hand, because the other 2 we know are in the deck... Unfortunately, it's just Jarmalu. We are going to go to battle. We are going to attempt to get exactly 3,900 damage. But Buffered Slime is going to come down and stop all of Milanesso's hopes and dreams. Now, the question is, what is that last
Mila.
back row? We've seen Slime.
Why
Is
you
it still the
summon the
rice?
guy?
It's still the rice. Okay. We know it's still the rice.
What is happening?
So we are going to use the effect of Replacer to get back the Essel. We're going to set another monster face down. We're going to tribute both to
False,
summon out
and
Rex.
it's over.
And that is it. That was actually a really cool game. Now, some people will say, oh, they just stalled. They just passed back and
Monarchist.
forth. There was so much thinking, so much big brain, so much strategizing going in there. That was actually a treat to watch, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Commiserations, Milanesso, for losing there, but you played really, really well.
Join me on Tabla 1, ans Peko leaves the Tabla.
I mean, you can play wherever you want. You don't have to play on specifically table 1. Like, it doesn't really make a difference. There's tons of tables everywhere.
It's looking at the deck count is what matters.
Aha, I'm so happy.
Oh, let me get off table 1. Give
That
me a
was a
sec.
thinking man's game. That was
Thanks
so
for
good.
revenging me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was a really cool back and forth where both players had to really consider each and every move. That is like peak Rush. That is peak Rush.
I agree, Hikari.
I missed what Hikari said. Let me go back and have a look. I think Mila shouldn't have summoned the small guy. I mean, potentially, yeah. It did take
Whistle
another big
vs
chunk of
Manarch
damage.
is finals.
So yeah, we will be having Whistling Bird versus Manarchist in the finals of the Wheel of Rush. So Whistling Bird, again, on the limited only restriction, which does mean he has to play basically only cards that are limited, a handful of other cards, and legend cards. Manarchist, on the other hand, is not allowed a skill.
Mirror and Crafter in hand, so I would have won either way.
I believe in
There we
Grandpa's
go.
Monsen Line 3S.
Whistling Bird does believe in Grandpa, so what will win? Belief in Grandpa, the Megazord, and just drawing the max, or Manarchist's ability to do his big brain plays, consider every small micro
At
decision,
least Whistle gets NA.
and see what happens.
Mei de Bette er Machine Wien.
So let's see who is going to come out on top.
The better machine is not here.
Ah, the vet machines are out, don't worry about it. There's reactors in Manarchist deck. Crafter Drone's effect is going to activate. We will discard and draw one card. What about Actor? Now, Actor's just... I mean, Actor's kind of cooler, I think, than Reactor, personally.
As a evil play it.
We're going to summon out the Mirror Innovator, then we're going to use Essel's effect, which is going to special summon out a second Mirror Innovator. Does anyone remember the good old days of Machine Good Stuff being the best deck in the game? Double piercing on these bad boys. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the cards in Whistling Bird's deck have 0 defense. There's a 300 defense. There's a 0 defense.
Fun.
And there we go. We did say after that
wow.
semi-final, the finals was going to be a wet fart, and there it is.
Good
Just
finals.
We literally said it's going to be Herder pass, Herder die out of nowhere. That is exactly what we said. And that is exactly what happened, which means Manarchist is going to be winning.
Damn it, Tomato.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. So,
Good low brain power match after the last one.
so not
Not
the lack,
the lack
of
of Magnum in hand.
Rip, absolute rip. But we had some good games there. Some not so good games. Some not so good games. But even though they were all still best of ones, we still came up to 48 minutes. We tend to try and get the challenge portion done by an hour.
So
although we do have a bit of
So
spare
now
time.
what?
So now what? That's it. Now you get your prizes. We go straight on to prizing, and then you'll be going straight into your rival duels. So, who's ready to see some prizes? What about my 10-minute deck building, though? Well, there you go. Right, we'll let everyone get their stuff out. How are we determining prizes? So it's, for the most part, pretty simple. You know, if you won, you're getting first choice. There are going to be 8 prizes in total. So Manarchist, you'll get to see every single prize and then choose which one you want.
Sure, prize gimme.
So we will go
Like
ahead
so.
and start showing off the prizes. So who's ready to see the first one?
If it's top 4, who gets the prize first? Me or Mila?
It will be whoever lost to the guy that won. So because Manarchist won, Milanessa is going to have a higher seed. So the first prize is going to be Siesta Hold times 3.
Elite U-Dawn.
This is the very first
Wow.
card. Who wants Siesta Hold times 3, eh? Eh? Siesta Hold? Siesta Hold anyone? Next up, Heavenly Bliss times 3. Heavenly Bliss.
Cool.
Pretty good trap. A lot better if you're playing like maximums. Then we have Combustion Crisis times 3. Depending on the deck,
Duel.
this can be very, very powerful. It's going to be more about what you're playing against than what you're actually playing. But still can be a pretty good trap. Next up, we have Hammer Crush at 2 copies. This is 2 copies of Hammer Crush. And I will say this is not going to be limited. So you can play these along with your specific back row hate that is going to be limited. Next up, we have Shitotsu, the Talismanic Warrior, at 3 copies. 3 copies of Shitotsu. Again, there will be a lot more decks that want to use this card than decks that don't. Well, there'll be a lot less decks that want to use this than decks that do. Let's put it that way.
Finale Backhof hatte.
Nothing crazy, Sai.
I mean, we did say at the start there wouldn't be anything super duper crazy in here. Next up, we have Mr. Alchemy.
Wait, that's a bit crazy for me.
Mr. Alchemy at 3 copies. Now, if anyone's been paying attention, they will see that in the generic card pool, we do have, as of this week, Strange Cat. So this card is now going to be live. Next card, Pot of Greed. Not yet, not yet. Next up is going to be a legend monster, Cybertech Alligator. Cybertech Alligator, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that, a legend monster. Most people don't even have a legend monster.
I can't use any of
That's actually
these.
good for me. Mr. Alchemy.
Well, it's a good thing you can't use any of them, Draco, if you don't get first dibs on them. So you're not really missing out on anything then, right? And the last card is going to be Barrel Dragon. Another legend. Another legend card. Machine Bros.
For me.
So, Manicist, as our first place champion of the Wheel of Rush.
Gut Oldbarren.
Wait, where is our boy
Now, Vorse Raid is too strong to release. We can't let him into the meta, okay? You got to think about balance.
No.
Alright, Manicist is decided to take his 3 Combustion Crisis. So they will be going to Manicist, which means next up will be Whistling Bird. So Whistling Bird, do you know what you are wanting to take? Obviously, you can take a minute to decide. There's no rush.
Now
Gib mir
whistle
mal
on
3,
you.
please.
I did not catch what that was. I'm going to have to look it up. Give me Bliss. Okay, so I did expect Whistle would probably want Bliss, because Bliss it works quite well specifically with what Whistle has. So next up will be Milanesso. Milanesso, you get the next choice of working out what exactly you want from here. And while that's happening, I'll start updating the spreadsheet at least a little bit. So Manicist has having that, and Heavenly Bliss is going to the mighty Whistling Bird. And let's double check to make sure no one's typed anything. Milanesso is doing a big thinking about which one of these cards he wants. He wants the Alligator. All right, Cybertech Alligator is being added to Milanesso's pool. So next up, it will be Parko. So Parko, does anything that remains take your fancy? Or is this going to be a take the best of the worst kind of situation?
A couple.
Yeah, I was thinking specifically for you, Parko, there is actually a decent amount of stuff here that you could actually make use of. Like, obviously, anyone that's got some machine stuff, there's kind of stuff for you there, but like Parko's got heroes, so Shitotsu can be pretty good.
But if I had to choose, Hammer Crush.
Okay, Parko is going to be taking the Hammer Crush. We will go ahead and drop that onto Parko. So next up is Sota. So Sota, what are you going to be after? We have 4 prizes remaining. Sota wants the Barrel Dragon, so that will be going to Sota. We will just go ahead and throw that onto your sheet. And that is going to be over here. Alright, this is where stuff gets a little bit awkward. Because technically, the next highest on points is Hunter. Now, Hunter is here now. Well, Hunter didn't technically play. But again, just by going by the points, We are going to
Hello.
give it to Hunter. So, Hunter, which one of these three do you want? We've got some
Siesta Fool.
interesting ones. Siesta Hold is going to be going to Hunter. So we'll just go ahead and drop that in. Where is Hunter? Hunter is here. And then for the last one, we don't really have any kind of like tie break here. So I am literally going to toss a coin. I am literally just going to toss a coin. Rather than like try and come up with something to arbitrarily decide who's going to be first or second.
I also want to hold your hand Paco heart emoji.
Alright, so I am just going to call this. If it is... I mean, you can't even see the coin results, so I don't even need to tell you what I'm saying. But I'm going to flip a coin. If it's heads, it's going to be... Hikari gets the next choice. If it's tails, it's going to be
these two.
Draco. And it is...
Let Hikari
Heads.
Honestly don't care, so give it to Draco.
I didn't think you'd care. Well, both players don't care. Someone has to have something.
I would care.
I refuse to choose either.
Alright, since Draco is being a child, we will go ahead
So, who
and
won
just
the flip?
give Mr. Alchemy to Hikari.
Like a Care Bear.
And then that will mean we will be giving Shitotsu to Draco. And that is that done. So if anyone wants to make any changes, bear in mind there's been barely any changes to the card pool, right? Realistically, nothing has realistically changed that much. Everyone's got a couple of little cards. This episode was primarily to get some points. And we did that deliberately because,
Bundles.
again, bundles. No, there are no bundles. There are no bundles, Sota. No bundles here. So we will be moving on to...
Why are we so pitiful?
We will be moving on to the rival duels. So, I suppose I haven't actually opened this yet. See if that's going to immediately pop up. That is going to work like that. Okay, that's fine. So we'll go ahead, drop this into here, and then we will be taking a look at who is playing who.
Different
in
room, I
the
guess.
rival duels. Now, we can play in this room. It's fine. It's already set up. Like, replays-wise, it's a little bit awkward, but it should be fine.
Harco,
Fingers
go you
crossed.
want to join Tabla 1.
I will finagle it. I will finagle it. Just so I don't have to make a new room. That's going to be the easiest
Well,
thing for
I
me.
need to make my deck.
So yeah,
Okay.
everyone feel free to go ahead and create your decks. Today we will be seeing Manikist versus Sota. We'll be seeing Hikari versus Draco Kid, Whistling
when
Bird
you are
versus
Draco.
Paco, and Hunter versus Milanessa. We are coming towards the end of things. Next week will be a lot more impactful. Let me just say that. I don't want to like tease things too much, but week 6, this was about primarily having another duel session and specifically getting some points. Week 7 is going to be a much more impactful week. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. This is kind of like, I don't want to call it a filler week, but compared to week 7, this is going to feel like a filler week.
Tomato, how are the points looking, Love?
Again, I calculate the points afterwards, Whistling Bird, just because otherwise it's too much of a headache. It's too much of a headache to do it during. I've got to do everything on the fly. We will be finagling that afterwards. But it will be interesting to see what decks people bring. We did, again, update the card pool once again with a bunch of cards. Most notably, Star Restart and Talismanic Seal Array are now available to everyone. We also got cards like Phoenix Dragon, which will boost the power of dragons, and a couple of different players have different dragon decks, as well as Dragon's Fortitude. We do also have stuff like An Magma Bear. We did get some of these other new cards like Umi and Stream of Elimination, which will make strategies a little bit more powerful. That being said, the emblems did get some new cards. Draco, unfortunately, has kind of already got everything that he can get from Thunder, Royal Rebel, and Dinosaur. There's not really
Sure,
anything
take your
there.
time.
As for everyone else, Hikari did get some new Galaxy cards, including some of the new stuff and the new skill. That means specifically we have got things like the Vanishing Heliacal Riser. I don't think Hikari's necessarily going to bring that out today, but, you know, it's a possibility. Then for Milaneso, we did get some more Psychic stuff. We still don't have the good Psychic skill, the current one that lets us use the Fusion, but we did get things like Ready Shine. We also got the new 7's Paladin Fusion Monster and the 7-star Road. Speaking of which, Hikari also did get the Hyperstrike Dragon, Dragius Star F, and Dragius, which could also increase the output and power of her deck quite significantly. Hunter didn't get anything of particular note because he's only got the Bubble Era emblem, so unfortunately not really much to report there.
Dank du Tomato imisik the TSA.
I mean, yeah, it's very important, that TSA. Whistling Bird has gotten the Fusion stuff and Dynamic Dream Builder skill for the Worms. Sota, who has the High-Tech Dragon emblem, now has RB Drive, as well as the Red Boot and the Flip and Flap Dragons. Over to Manicus now, he has got the Maximum Ragnarok skill, as well as the brand new Pyro skills, Fatal Roar and Red Protection, so we'll see if he wants to bring either of those out. Finally, we have Parko, who did get his Kimeterasu and Yameterasu fusions, which are unlimited in this format, so it'll be interesting to see if he brings any of that. We also have Burst Wingman available, so we could also choose to bring that. Metarian Ashura Star has also made his way to the table, but only one copy of Type Change Beam. So Parko has a lot of different options. We'll see what he decides to bring. Trying to beat the Chemicalize sucks, but the deck can't out Golden Pass. Same reason I'm eating my words today. Can we have Soromia 1 for Season 2? I mean, you could have signed up for Season 1, Sora. We would have loved to have you in it. CZ, so with cards like Argent that put cards to the bottom of the deck, what order are you doing it? Like the one that is last will be the one on the very bottom? No, it should be the one that you pick first is on the very bottom. Parker going for the Gaia bundle. So I will say we are... I mean, I think it's more fun just to wait and see. I think that's going to be the most fun way to do it, but... TSA Phoenix and Fortitude Dragon Tier 0 Rush Rivals. I mean, we'll see, we'll see. Alright, so one of the games has kicked off. I guess we will hop into that in a minute. But it's going to be interesting. I don't know if anyone in chat has any predictions on who they think is going to do particularly well. Like, Milaneso has said that he thinks dragons are going to be tier 0. Now, dragons could potentially be very, very strong. Again, we have 3 Phoenix Dragon. We have 3 copies of Dragon's Fortitude. That can be really, really good. Speaking of which, I need to make sure I add Dragon's Fortitude to this list. That is meant to be limit 3 Dragon's Fortitude. That is my fault for not putting it on there. But Dragon's Fortitude is going to be limited 3. I should have done that already. That's me being bad. That's entirely my fault. I'm completely to blame. But it'll be interesting to see who actually does come out on top here. There are a lot of very, very powerful decks now available to players. Let's drop an @Hunter. See if Hunter is about. I don't know if Hunter is still available or if he is like kind of in the middle of doing stuff.
Yes.
I don't really know the nature of...
And she has the back row removal.
Entering the house. Okay, so Hunter is on his way home. He will be at his PC soon. So we will just wait for that quick. Soon, TM. I gotta say, after playing through this much of Rush Rivals, I know a lot of things I would change for next season. It's difficult to start implementing changes mid-season. But, like, this is very much a learning experience. This is like season 0, I guess. Now, again, we might not do another one, right? We might not do another one. If we do, I know a lot of things that I would change to try and make it a lot more watchable, a lot more manageable. Lots of things I would do to make things more comfortable for the players themselves. Try to not have people be rushed all the time. I think a big part of that is the streaming aspect. I think because we're streaming it, players do feel like they have to be a little bit rushed. But that is just kind of part of the territory, right?
Tiere wohnt B-Season 2. Wie?
I mean, it depends. It depends. It depends how much interest there is. It depends exactly what we decide to do with it, right? At the end of the day, this is quite a lot of work. So if...
I'm holding back so hard on not raging.
It's okay, Draco. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's just Rush Rivals. It's just the silly format. You're fine. We ain't gonna be here on season 2. We'll have to wait and see.
Mana am gonna be on table soon. I just finished my deck.
It's like Sota has finished his deck. I mean, I don't know if Parko has had much free time to build his deck ahead of time. I know Whistlingberg probably built his deck, like, I don't know, last week someone. I had no time. I think that's fair. Absolutely fair. Parko is quite a busy person these days. Especially considering all of the extracurricular activities that you partake in between Pokemon Pocket and Rush Duel. Trying to keep on top of both.
And Goth Girls.
And apparently Goth Girls. Right, there was didn't the new set drop exactly at the same time as on like Rush
and Pocket?
Yeah, I get that they probably don't really give a shit about each other, but like at the same time it's like now we don't want to give too much Parko love. Parko can share whatever Parko wants to. I'm not going to share all of Parko's dirty secrets. Looks like 3 games have started, so we're just waiting for Parko to finish deck building and then the final game will begin. I do like spectating the games in real time, but they are a lot harder to edit in real time. So I'd much rather watch the replays. I understand how that can be a little bit frustrating, sometimes to the players, sometimes to the viewers, but to make my editing process a little bit easier, I will wait until some of these games are finished. Looks like 1 game has already finished. Oh, we've clicked the back button again. The new duel room will still take me so long to get used to. Listen, Hikari has no chill, alright? Hikari is not gonna take Quantum's title and become world champion if she has chill. Hikari must brutally slaughter.
If you attack me, I will walk off this cliff.
I get that reference. I don't know if I can put that in the YouTube video. I don't think that's making the cut. I mean, to be fair, we're kind of in limbo at the moment, so none of this is probably making the cut. Blame Koiba.
Blame Koiba.
Goddamn
All right,
Koiba.
I'm done cooking.
Alright, I will go ahead and turn off the TTS just while we get these games going, because sometimes they talk over a little bit and it can get a little bit awkward. So, we will be hopping in to the first replay that has concluded, and this is going to be Draco versus Hikari. So let's take a look now. Based on Draco's comments, I'm going to assume we kind of know who's winning here, but let's see what we have. Draco looks to be playing Royal Rebels. Hikari probably playing Dragons. So let's see what happens here. So Hikari is going to start with setting 2 monsters, then tribute setting something in the center. Kobold is going to come down. We're going to discard to draw. We're then going to summon out another monster, tribute to summon out the Royal Rebels Heavy Metal, and attack over Mirror Geas. We are going to be sending out the Star Replacer, activating Dragon Inferno, putting the Star Replacer back into our hand, and setting the Triad Drago. Dragia Star Nova is going to activate and add the fusion to our hand from the deck. We're going to tribute 2 and summon out the Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius, summon out the dragon, activate the fusion from hand, and here he comes, the big bad boss monster, this deck's original boss, the Dragia Star F. Dragia Star F's effect is going to allow it to have piercing and attack twice. Very, very powerful. We're then going to summon out the Dragorite and activate Talismanic Seal Array to reduce the attack of our opponent's monster, and that is going to just be the end of the game, which just goes to show why a big 3,000 attack monster that can attack twice can be so unbelievably powerful. So unbelievably powerful. Next up, we will have Hunter versus Milaneso. Let's see what's going on here. So we are going to see Mimi versus Zuijo. So we are expecting probably Bubble Era versus Dark Galaxy. Let's see what happens here. So we are going to be tributing 2 and summoning out the Elysium. Then we're going to be summoning out the Shoulder Phone, summoning out the Seahorse, and summoning out Speedy Performer. Speedy Performer's effect is going to boost the now tribute summoned Dian Keto the Boogie Master, but Strange Wall will prevent it from being able to attack over the Elysium. We're going to tribute out the Requiem and then normal summon out Avant Wolf. Requiem is going to get boosted up to 3700 attack, and we will then attack for game. I guess this means that Milaneso is still not playing his new skill. Still not playing the new skill. I have a really powerful deck now, but I miss Requiem. What do? I miss Zuijo. You're just going to have to live vicariously through Hunter, I'm afraid. There's nothing else you really can do. Alright. Let's watch this last game. I assume this is going to go one way, but we'll just get through it. So this is going to be game 2 of Hikari versus Draco. Let's see if it's more impactful than the first game. So we will be seeing Royal Rebels versus Dragon Fusion, a deck that hasn't really seen a lot of play in a long time, versus a deck that is arguably one of the strongest right now, but in a weakened state. We will be seeing the summon of Doom Metal. We do have a card stuck in hand, which is very unfortunate. Dragia Star Nova is going to be activated, adding the dragon to the hand. We're going to be flipping up the Phoenix Dragon, activating the effect to add back Multi-Strike Dragon Dragius. We'll be tributing 2 to summon out said Dragius, activating Star Restart to get back the Dragorite and add Fusion to our hand. We will then be summoning out the Dragon and activating Fusion to combine our monsters together into the mighty Multi-Strike Dragon, or Hyper Strike Dragon even, Dragia Star F. We will activate its effect, allowing it to attack twice and have piercing. Not that the piercing is really going to matter. And then we will be attacking for game. Unfortunately, Draco did not have anything, which is a bit of a shame. Is a bit of a shame. But that's just how Rush Rivals goes sometimes. Now, have we got any other games that have finished? Looks like we haven't. Yeah, everyone's taking all their sweet time with their games. At least I won something. True. Even if it was not Zuijo's heart. It's a shame he couldn't win Zuijo's heart, but like, it's difficult. It's difficult to win Zuijo's heart. Realistically, who can win Zuijo's heart? I mean, there can't be that many people. We can probably count them on... I was going to say on one hand, but I think even one hand is far too many. So we will just hang about and see who shows up next in the replay city. I would expect probably Mila Hunt. I mean, to be fair, all of these games had like a little bit of a delay. Sota and Manicus were both spending quite a long time building. Parko spent the longest building his deck, and Hunter had to get home before he could like start his game. So that being said, we will see what happens here. as we just wait for more replays to show up. I'm really curious to see what decks everyone else has brought. I think, realistically, we did see Hikari bring the strongest option she had. She did bring the big, bad, scary Dragon Fusion deck. I mean, we all know how strong this deck is. But, again, it doesn't have the Mirror Gearstar F. So, it's not the, like, crazy version of the deck that just gets to kill people outright. We did also see Draco bringing probably the strongest deck he has access to, that being the Royal Rebels. Royal Rebels, though, again, not a particularly strong deck right now. Hasn't really seen play in a little while, which is a little bit awkward. And it looks like we are going to have our first game up for our next players. This is going to be Whistling Bird versus Parko. So we are going to be seeing Gavin Sogetsu versus Asana Mutsuba. It looks like this is probably going to be Warrior Fusion versus Worms, but we don't know which version of Worms this is yet. This could be Worm Maximum or this could be Worm Fusion. Both decks have seen a decent amount of representation. Neither one has really outshone the other as being the better version. Peaks of Blistopia is going to come down, Constructor Fight and Mixer. We're going to use Maximum Excavator to boost, and that is going to be the Celestial Seamstress, which means we're probably not going to be seeing... Oh, I was going to say we're not going to be seeing heroes. Looks like we might be seeing heroes. We are still... What is this? we're playing Ice. We're playing the Ice Sark skill so that we can play the heroes alongside it, I guess? Interesting, interesting. Okay, so this is kind of like an Ari brew, I guess, is the best way to think of this. We will then be attacking with the Flame Wingman, whose effect will burn through Whistling Bird's life points. We will just be attacking back and killing the Argent. We'll then summon out the Rhythmical Performer, which is going to mill a maximum piece, which does reveal a little bit as to what Whistling Bird is on. We'll summon out the Ice Sark. We'll set a monster in defense. We'll activate Talismanic Seal Array to reduce the attack of Whistling Bird's only monster, the Shovelon. Card Restoration is going to activate and give us a few life points back as we take 1900. Flame Wingman is then going to burn for another little chunk, and then we're going to maximum summon Worm Excavator, the Heavy Cavalry Draco. This will pop a back row from our opponent. Talismanic Seal Array is going to come down and reduce the attack of one of these monsters. Presumably that is going to be the Ice Sark. And we will try and get in for a ridiculous chunk of damage. That is going to be 4,000 damage to the face. And we just don't have any way to deal with that. So Whistling Bird will take the first game. Bagger 288 is on the loose. True. So next up we will have the first game between Sota and Manikist. And this looks like Red Boot versus Chemicalized? Okay, I'm curious. Let's see what happens. I mean, again, Chemicalized is a pretty good deck, just not against, like, the current best decks in the game. So when it goes into a lower power format, it's going to be reasonably powerful. Let's see what happens here. Can it take out the Red Boot? So we are going to see Manikist setting 2, tributing both to summon out the Chromatographicus, setting 2 back row, and then passing. RB Drive is going to be activated by Sota, adding the Beta Burn Dragon and sending the Flip Dragon to the graveyard. We will then normal summon the Beta Burn, activate its effect to burn for 100. Dragon's Inferno is going to come down to pop our opponent's Pierce. We're then going to tribute 2, summon out the Red Boot Boost Dragon, burn for 200, and boost our attack by the same amount. We will then attack over Chromatographicus and attack directly for 1400. Manikist will draw up to his full hand. We are then going to summon out the Ember, activate our skill, which will mill 3 and let us add a monster with 1500 or more defense from our graveyard, so we add back the Chromatographicus. We will be tribute summoning it. We'll summon out 2 Germalu, which will be tributing both to summon out the Salamander. Salamander's effect will be putting 3 monsters from our graveyard back into our deck and reducing the attack of our opponent's monsters by 100 times the number of monsters in their graveyard, allowing us to clear both of them and getting in for a decent chunk of damage. RB Drive is going to be activated, adding another Beta Burn Dragon to our hand. We're going to send Flap Dragon to the graveyard. We're then going to summon out Beta Burn and Fortitude. Fortitude to reduce, Beta Burn to burn. Red Boost Boot Dragon is going to come down. We're going to shuffle back some monsters back into our deck, burn our opponent and gain that attack. This time it will be 6, which is quite a significant number. This will now allow us to attack over the Chemicalized Salamandra for 900 damage. It will now pass back to Manicist, who's going to draw and summon out Ember, activating the back row hate to pop the opponent's Fortitude. We'll then use our skill to get back Chemicalized Salamandra once again, set a monster, tribute both to summon out the Chemicalized Salamandra, activate Stop Defense, very good use of it here. Chemicalized Salamandra is going to once again reduce the entire opponent's board, get in for 200, get in for another 24, but it looks like we are bricked up on high levels in that hand if we were unable to do anything else. Fortitude Dragon is going to come down, reduce the attack of our monster, Fortitude, and set the Dragon's Fortitude from the graveyard. We're then going to set Tribute both to summon out the Blue Fang and attack over. Now, Blue Fang is probably going to die here, but it's going to depend on our back row to see if we can protect it. We're going to be summoning, tributing 2 to summon out another copy of Salamander, and then we're going to summon out Ember, use this effect to cheat out a third Salamander. We will now be just absolutely reducing the amount of attack of this Bluetooth by a ridiculous amount. This is going to be a 1500 reduction in total. We will attack, which will trigger a Dragon's Fortitude, which will allow us to recycle and stem the bleeding a little bit, and that is going to be a direct attack from Chemicalized Salamander, ending the game. Good job, Manicist, showing off the power of the new Chemicalized deck. That was a really good game. I really like that one. You know, it was maybe not as close as I would like, but I really liked it. So we're going into game 2 of Milaneso versus Hunter. Let's see what happens here. Tomato British bias? No, never. So Milaneso, once again, will be playing the Dark Galaxy, Hunter playing the Bubble Era. Now, Bubble Era at this point is very, very outdated, so it goes without saying Milaneso has a massive advantage here. But let's see what happens. So we are going to see the Canaan face up. Star Trileo is going to be activated, which will excavate the top 3 cards and send any Galaxy monsters to the graveyard. We'll then tribute out the Void Velgir Requiem, activate Requiem's effect. Call of the Earthbound will redirect our attack to a speed performer. We are then going to tribute out Dean Keto, the Security Master, which is going to discard our opponent's boss and give us 1,000 life points. But Milaneso did leave Globule face up in attack position. Interesting. So we do get a lot of damage in. We will then swing over for 300 and then attack in. Seahorse Carrier is going to add our Canaan to the hand. We will then summon out Canaan, tribute to summon out D and Keto, and then we will normal summon the Canaan. We will boost up the attack to 2100. We will then swing over, and that is that. Globule is going to be activated. It will allow us to shuffle 3 Dark Galaxy monsters back into the deck, and then tribute it as 2 tributes to summon out the Elysium. We'll use its skill to boost its attack to 3000, attack over 2 monsters, and get in for a decent chunk, but here, Hunter still has 6100 life points left. Seahorse Carrier is going to add the Canaan back to hand. We will summon out Lamoon, activate Hydration to pop the back row, flip up the Speedy Performer, activate Speedy Performer to boost Lamoon, tribute 2 to summon out the D and Keto, the Security Master, boost its attack with the skill, then we will attack over, and attack directly for another 14, putting Milaneso down to only 900 life points. Globule's effect is going to be activated once again, putting 3 cards from the graveyard back into the deck. We will then tribute it to summon out the Elysium and summon out the Mighty Shadow Sentinel before activating Talismanic Seal Array to reduce the attack of the Security Master. We will attack over it, and then Call of the Earthbound is going to activate to redirect our second attack onto Lamoon. Hunter is going to summon out Canaan, activate Hydration to pop the back row again and keep gaining those life points, summon out D and Keto. Disco Fever is going to boost it, and that should be the game to Hunter. So we are seeing Aqua bite back a little bit. Could it be played with any deck? Yeah, you can use any of your skills, Milaneso. You can use any of your skills and any of your cards in any combination you want. So you have access. If you look on the spreadsheet, you have what is even the skill called? Void Destruction. Yeah, you have Void Destruction on your spreadsheet, which means you can use it if you want to. It's up to you. I mean, you don't have to use it, but it's there if you want to use it. So now, we will be going on to Game 3 to see who wins out of Milaneso and Hunter. So we are going to see Milanesso winning the coin flip. Let's see what happens here. So we will be normal summoning the Avant Wolf, normal summoning the Sentinel, tributing 2 to summon out the Elysium and summoning out another Avant Wolf. We will set tribute both to summon out Elysium again, activate Pierce. We are then going to summon out another Sentinel. We will be attacking over all of these monsters and getting in for 2,500 damage. Has Hunter got anything to save him? We've taken so much damage already. We are going to summon out the Security Master, but Security Master on its own is not going to do a lot. We have to hope we have something in the back row, but I can't help but feel we are not going to have enough. Recital comes down to protect, and that will be a direct attack from Elysium, ending the duel. Right, well, Milanesso did manage to win, even though he was kind of gimping himself with the skill. But again, Hunter did very, very well to even take a gain there, considering, again, it's Bubble Error. Bubble Error not exactly known for being a particularly strong deck in the current meta. So, still very good done by Hunter. Very well done by Hunter, if we can actually learn to speak. So that means that we have... Let's not use that. So we know that Milanesso has taken down Hunter. We have game 2 of Sota versus Manicist still to come. We've seen Hikari take down Draco. And so that means we have both of the other games still going on. So they're going to be the other games we want to see. Have we not had... So this game started. What's going on with Sota versus Manicist? Did we miss that? There it is. It is up here now. It is up here. We can watch it. We can watch it, everyone. We can watch the game. Bye, Bila. Thanks for playing. Oh, he's already gone. Alright, Sota versus Manicist. Game 2, Red Boot versus Pyro. Specifically Chemicalized. Let's see what happens here. So we are going to see set 3 monsters, set a back row. RB Drive is going to be immediately activated, adding Flap Dragon to hand, sending Flip Dragon to the graveyard. Pretty standard open for the RB Drive deck. We are going to use Flap, bring it back. Summon out the Blue Fang to pop our opponent's Fyaru. We're then going to summon 2 more monsters, including Beta Burn. We will burn our opponent, but here comes the 1500 defense squad. We are, though, going to find a 0 defense monster to attack over with our Slugger. Fatal Roar is going to come out. We are then going to see Ember added to the hand. We're going to set 2, tribute both to summon out the Chemicalized Salamander, use Salamander's effect to reduce the attack of all of our opponent's monsters, and then clear over 2 of them. Not a super threatening turn, but pretty good nonetheless. Flap Dragon is going to come down and add Flip Dragon back. We're going to be flipping down one of our opponent's monsters, making it easily able to be attacked over. Flap Dragon is going to flip up the 0 attack Ember. We're then going to summon out the Red Boot, use Red Boot's effect to shuffle back a large pile of monsters, 7 in total, the absolute maximum, burning for 700 and increasing our attack by 700. Let's see where this goes from here. We can now easily attack over both of these monsters for a large chunk of damage, but we do leave our opponent with that Jarmalu face down. We will then be normal summoning Jarmalu, which will let us trigger our skill and let us add Ember to our hand. We'll be setting a monster, tributing 2 to summoning out Chromatographagus. We're then going to summon out Ember to tribute it to use its effect to cheat out with an attack boost of 800, the Chemicalized Salamandra. We will then attack after using its skill. We will walk into, though, the Dragon's Fortitude, which will reduce our attack. Sota, with only 800 life points left, is still hanging in there. Let's see if he can do anything here. We're going to be summoning out 2 copies of Flap Dragon, using our back row hate to pop the back row. Blue Flang is going to pop one of these, but I believe this is just pretty much lethal on board, unless those back row can save us, and it's unlikely. Now, there could be Fortitude Dragon back there. We'll have to see what happens. Chemicalized Salamander is going to be activated, which will reduce the attack of this monster, but then another one's going to come down, making it very unlikely. Now, this would have to be pretty much like a combination. Like, we would have needed a recital. We definitely would have needed a recital here. We don't have one, so that is going to be Sota getting knocked out. I mean, good job, Anarchist. Commiserations to Sota. Alright, Whistling Bird versus Parko. Let's see what happens in this second game. So I believe Whistling Bird won game 1, so let's see what happens here. So Whistling Bird has won the coin flip. That can be quite game determinative in a lot of situations. Let's see what happens. So we're going to be drawing. We're going to be setting 4. We will then be setting 5 in return. This is kind of what Whistling Bird wants. Whistling Bird is quite happy to just wait until he draws his entire maximum. We are going to be seeing Kime Luna the Shifter come down. Then we're going to be setting Tributing over to summon out the Ice Arc, use the Spectral Score skill to boost our attack up, and then we will be cheating back a monster from the graveyard. Kime Luna is going to shift some of these battle positions once again. Fusion is going to come down to make Kime Tarasu, which will have the ability to destroy 2 defense position monsters. So we leave the weaker one face up in attack position so we can attack over it. Star Restart is going to bring back the mighty Burstinatrix. Music Princess Recycle is going to protect us from the first attack. The second attack is going to be hit with the card Restoration to gain us some life points. And then we are going to flip down another card. We are going to have summon out the Maximum. So Maximum is coming down, which means we can pop a back row. We are going to do so. We do hit a Star Restart. We use the skill to boost our attack and get in for 2,500 damage. Now, Parko does have the Talismanic Seal Array, but is that back row going to be enough to protect the Excavator? We will have to wait and see. We're going to flip up and attack over it. It looks like it was not enough. We're then going to activate Peaks of Blistopia. We're going to summon out the Shovelon. We're going to use our skill to boost its attack by 100 and add a maximum piece back. Then we're going to re-summon the Maximum once again. This will allow us to once again pop the back row. And that is 3,300 damage we could have gotten. We chose not to, because it would not have been lethal, so we get rid of the threat instead. We're going to use Argent, which is going to grab us both an Avian and a Burstinatrix to our hand. But where are we going with this? That's the question. We'll Tribute 2 to summon out Yami Ruler, activate the TSA. This will be reducing the attack by 2,000 down to 25, so we can crash. We are going to be crashing. We're going to see Shovelon. We're going to see Mixer come down. Mixer is going to mill Peaks of Blistopia. We're then going to boost it with the skill and attack over for 600 piercing damage. Parko needs to make something happen here. Rhythmical Performer is going to be activated, milling a card from both. And unfortunately, we don't find anything, so that is going to be Whistling Bird taking the win. So there we have it. That means the winners of today's rival duels were Manikist, Whistling Bird, Milaneso, and Hikari. So that is going to be our 4 winners of the challenges for today. We'll go ahead and unmute everyone. So if everyone wants to yap once again, they will be free to do so. I can just get to everyone.
The main reason why I hit Salamander on the first duel was cause I didn't read the skill and assumed adding back Salamander was a once per duel.
It is most certainly not.
Monarchist geht just like Becknoof.
But yeah, Ike seemed unbeatable.
I mean, Manikist will almost certainly have first
Konami
place
sucks.
back. But again, it's only first place on points, right? So, like, take that with a pinch of salt. Points are important, but they are not the be-all, end-all.
At screen.
How dare Konami suck? Rah, 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 rah.
What is there more than points?
What, is there more than points? Well, we'll find out in the finals, in the 8th episode, the very, very finale, what's going to happen. But points are... You'll find out more about where the points go
We only
next
have a
episode.
point
Let's put it that
tomato.
way.
The friends we made along the way, Hikari.
You'll find out. You'll find out what's going to happen. You'll find out what's going to happen. It's nice to keep some secrets. It's nice to keep some secrets. That's why I'm saying it's not just about who has the most points. Anyone can win, right? If you have more points, you're in a much better position. If you have more wins, you're in a much better position. Does that mean being at the bottom of either of those means you have no chance? Not a chance. 100% you always have a chance to win this. You might just have to try a little bit harder than everyone else. We will see where it goes. But that is going to be it for this episode of Rush Rivals. I hope everyone watching did enjoy.
Continues.
I don't know if anyone wants to say goodbye before we sign off. I always love it when we're like, oh yeah, you guys can all say goodnight and goodbye and stuff, and then
Hikari,
like
you like to be
Good
friends
fight,
with
good
me,
night.
Catch-up.
it just like starts not picking anything up at all. Well, we got Bird saying good fight, good night at the very least. That's at least something. But that will be it. So, Thank you all so much for watching. We've had a great time. We've had some ups, we've had some downs, but next week should be a lot more... I don't know if exciting is the right word, but it'll be a lot more impactful. We'll have to wait and see what exactly happens. But we will be back doing a regular stream again on Tuesday at our regular time interval. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.